Me being a writer is that I don't write enough. But I know I'm a writer because it just totally happens, and I got paid to write almost my entire life. So I'm a writer and I know it, but I'm a writer who does not write every day. Unless it's my journal or in my little planner, which, buy milk and, bread doesn't count. Clearly I write. I've been a journalist. I've written marketing. I've written short stories and poetry, and I've ghostwritten. I've done it all. But currently I can say I don't write enough. And if you love to write, you are supposed to write every day, they tell you. But it's a lie, because I love to write, but I don't write every day. But stuff happens, and situations happen, and I even, as a writer, I've been published multiple times because, like I said, I was a journalist. As a writer, I even joined a writer's group to help me, reconnect that, I'm writing not just for marketing or for a newspaper or an article or whatever. I need to write just so that I can write for myself, not for any particular paid purpose. Although getting paid is always good. So I'd say because of the fact that I have been so busy with the studio and just a new marriage and kids and all of that, I actually did a workshop, or actually it was a writing group. Like I said, I joined this writing group, and there was an exercise, and it really was stream of consciousness writing. But I found that the subject that they chose, I went really inward with, about something between me and my mother, and I wrote it, and I didn't even realize at that time that I was really getting out something that I needed to put on paper about our relationship, and trying to put myself in her shoes, and for me, just that short exercise, it was a reminder of why writing is very healing, and it puts things, you can think and think and think and think all day, but when you actually put pen to paper and put those thoughts out there, or things that it's funny, when you start to write, you access things in the back of your mind that you're like, oh yeah, that's why that happened, or that's why this exists, or maybe my mother reacts this way because she's thinking this way. And actually putting those things together into some sort of storyline. And that workshop, though it was short, or the exercise was short, I was like, wow, this is what I've been trying to tell people with my written journey to healing process, is accessing those parts of you that you don't realize are there just with the simplest of exercises. Although I don't know if that was even the point of that exercise. It was really just to get you writing. But I took it further because I was writing about something that I personally needed to work through. And I think that's what writing, or any creative outlet, but specifically writing, because we talk so much internally with ourselves, that it puts all of that stuff on paper for you to look at and reread, and then you can either reread and process it and toss it and burn it, never see it again, or you can turn it into something that can help sustain your lifestyle, you know what I mean? Because you can be paid for some of the things that you think that nobody wants to read. You'd be surprised if you want to read that or buy that as a book or a short story. So I just think that writing accesses things that people don't realize are there. When you give them an exercise, sometimes it feels really mundane, whatever that exercise is, until you start writing. And then once you start writing, you go through that process, and maybe with a few cues, with it, if you're going, like in my case, I was in that exercise or in a workshop, and you might need that guidance. But once you've received that permission that you sometimes don't realize you have to access those parts of your brain and put it out on paper like that, then you're like, oh wow, I didn't really heal that up, did I? Because I'm writing about it right here. And even if it's in metaphor, you just don't even realize what's there until you start writing it. So